Welcome all. We are about 1 minute away from 7 o'clock, so I'm just going to wait for people to come on and log in. And I'm really excited to share with you all this evening. Feel free to put in the chat where you're tuning in from. I would love to see where we all are in this broadcast. So I'll give it a couple minutes for people to hop on, and then we'll go ahead and get into the content. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just making sure you're in the right place. This is our grant writing live stream. Tucson, wow, wonderful. I was about to say Tuscan. Tuning in from Tucson, love it. Thank you for being here. So yes, feel free to put in the chat where you are tuning in from. I would love to see where our viewers are tuning in from, and then we're going to get started very shortly. Hopefully you are in the right place, like I said, for this grant writing live stream. This is just going to be a precursor to an actual 5-day course that we have coming up in 2 weeks. Hi, Martin. Thank you so much for your support, for joining. Thank you. I always love the comments in the chat and seeing people share where they're from, and if I know them personally, it's always great. Just a fun fact, this is my first time doing a live stream, actually conducting it. I've been a part of one before, but I didn't have to do all the technical things on the back end. So this is actually my first time doing the technical side of things and scheduling the links and sending out the emails and all those things. So please bear with me, give me a little bit of a learning curve as we go through this evening. I will shortly share my screen, which will have our presentation for this evening, and we'll get into the content. Yes, thank you. Thank you all for the encouragement. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate that. So that's great. That's great that it was smooth to sign up. And I think I sent out a new link at the very last minute. So hopefully people are on the right link. All right, let me go ahead and get started. I want to honor you all's time. All right. All right. So there is a little bit of a lag in terms of the sound and as I move through the slides. So I'm going to turn my camera off as I go through this content. So I just wanted to let you all know why you won't be seeing my face, but that is the reason why there's just a little bit of a lag. And because of that, I will be answering questions at the end via the actual chat versus my voice because the lag is about 20 to 30 seconds, unfortunately. So I tested it out earlier, wanted to make sure everything was smooth. And so we found out that that was a little bit of a hiccup. And this is going to mitigate that a little bit. So again, welcome to this live stream on grant writing. My name is Jessica Smith. I am the founder and executive director of the Mental Health Emergency Fund Incorporated. If you're not familiar with our work, we are in Baltimore, Maryland, and we have been around for about 3 years now. So our mission really is to destigmatize the need for therapy in marginalized communities by increasing access to financial means to for people to get therapy. So we give out $500 stipends to people who are struggling with their mental health but can't afford out-of-pocket costs. We actually currently have applications open right now until Monday for people to apply for funding. So I apply for grants in order to give it right back out to the community. I kind of consider myself a philanthropist in that regard, where I'm raising money and then giving money away. So like I mentioned before, or maybe I didn't mention, this is a precursor to a full course that I'll be doing on grant writing. It'll be a 5-day course, and that will start on Monday, November 11th. And it is self-paced, so no need to feel like you have to be at a certain place at a certain time. You're able to go through the content on your own pace. And I will be available via email if you have any questions and things like that. So we're just going to do a little bit of a preview of the course today. You will be getting a discount on the course if you sign up today. And there'll be some applicable takeaways with this session. So the official title of this training is called Unlocking Opportunities, the Advantages of Being a Grant Writer. So what we're going to cover today is how grant writing opens the path for financial independence, some grant writing essentials, why there is a need for grant writers, and then I'm going to open it up for Q&A. I'm going to pause right quick and look in the chat to make sure everything is good. Some grant writing essentials. Okay. Why there's a Hi, Devin. I see that you're here. All right. I think we are good. So again, perks of this live stream is that you'll have the opportunity to attend the 5-day course. You'll get that special discount. There'll be bonus content. You will have access to group coaching once you have completed your 5-day course. And then the replay will be available of this live stream. So now I can do my formal welcome. I am excited that you're here. It is a great time to learn about grant writing. So you're in the right place. A little bit more about me, a little bit more about me. So I am a writer, speaker, facilitator, obviously a nonprofit founder that I mentioned of the Mental Health Emergency Fund. I'm a business coach. I was recently in the last cohort of the Baltimore Community Fellowship. So I had an 18-month fellowship, and that just rounded out in May of earlier this year. And I am so blessed and proud to say that I've been able to secure 6 figures in grant funding, which allows me to do my business full time, at least for 2024. So I just want you all to know that this is not a get rich quick scheme. It takes time and practice to really work your skill set of grant writing. And so I just wanted to give you all a realistic view of my own timeline. So I won my first $500 micro grant in June 2021, and that is what kicked off and launched the Mental Health Emergency Fund. A year later, I multiplied that by 50 and won a $25,000 grant contest. By November 2022, I found out that I was accepted into Baltimore Community Fellowship, Open Society Institute, Baltimore Community Fellowship. And so that was a $70,000 fellowship for 18 months. In January of 2023, I was accepted into the Elevation Awards here in Baltimore, and that comes with a 10K grant and technical assistance training. And then by the end of last year, October 2023, just a year ago, I received my $100,000 grant, and that has been able to help me to have a full salary for this year and do all of my full programming for a full calendar year. So again, like I said, super blessed, but also as you can see, it's taken over 2 years for me to get to that point of 6 figures. So again, it takes some time, it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of applying, but hopefully if this is something that you want to do as a part-time job, or if you want to get into grant writing full-time, I'm going to be able to give you some strategies to help you move forward. Most of those strategies will be in the actual course. So again, this is just a precursor and just a quick preview in this live stream here today. So I wanted to show you all some pictures of my lovely trip to Greece. I think the host of the trip, Candon, I think she might be on the live stream if she is. Hey, Candon. But I wanted to show you these pictures. I went earlier this year from like the end of June to early July. And it just shows that, I have the freedom, financial freedom and flexibility to travel, to have my schedule be how I want it to be, and, explore the world and still make an impact in people's lives. So I just think that it's really important to also pour into yourself when you're doing nonprofit work, community-based work like I am, because the work does get heavy. And so sometimes you need that levity and you need to be able to take time for yourself. So I had a wonderful time. It's a beautiful country, and I hope that more people get to travel in the near future. So what we're going to be talking about today, just a little bit of understanding what grant writing is, the advantages of becoming a grant writer. We're going to have a Q&A, and like I said, I'm going to answer those questions in the chat versus my voice, simply because of the lag that is happening here on this live stream. There'll be a call to action, which is to sign up for the full course, and then there'll be some closing remarks. So I will get you out of here probably in about 25 minutes or so. It's going to be very quick. So just very, very basics. When we think about the definition of grant writing, it is the process of creating a formal proposal to request funding from a grant-making organization. So these grant-making organizations could be philanthropic organizations like foundations. They can be community-based organizations, they can be universities, they can even be corporations. So there are a lot of grant-making organizations and institutions out there, and the process will vary depending on what type of institution you are going for funding after. And the purpose is to articulate the needs of a project and persuade funders of its importance and potential impact. So you really are persuading the funders to make sure that they know that you are the one that should be funded amongst hundreds probably of other applicants. And, sometimes it does get a little bit discouraging when you get that rejection letter that, you didn't make it that round, but, it's just encouragement to keep refining your skill set and to keep going forward. So, like I mentioned before, there are multiple different institutions or agencies that need grant writers. So, nonprofits like myself, to fund programs that serve their mission. Educational institutions need grant writers for research funding and educational initiatives. Government agencies need grant writers to support community projects and initiatives, and then business and corporations need grant writers for corporate social responsibility projects. So that's just kind of the scope and the landscape of the need for it. So it's just not just nonprofits. It really branches into a lot of different sectors. And so just wanted to, widen everybody's scope of what is possible and who might need you as a grant writer. So there are many advantages, one being that it's an in-demand skill set. There are impact stories that I'm going to share. There are transferable skills that you can learn that you can, again, transfer to multiple different jobs and roles. And there are different opportunities for professional growth. So going into the in-demand skill set, recent trends indicate that skilled grant writers are increasingly sought after, especially in a competitive funding environment. There are a number of job opportunities. So there are various roles, including freelance grant writing, in-house positions at nonprofits, and consulting opportunities. So I just want to make a point here that you do not have to have your own nonprofit or your own business to be a grant writer. And by that, I mean, you don't have to have a nonprofit like me, the Mental Health Emergency Fund, and I'm going after grants for funding for my initiatives, right? Your actual business can be grant writing, where you are a freelance writer and or a consultant, and people hire you to write grants for their organization. So I don't want you all to think that you have to not only get down the skill set of grant writing, but also now create a whole 501(c)(3) nonprofit and get a board of directors and all those things. Absolutely, if you're already on that trajectory, you can feel free to do that, but you don't have to do that in terms of what we're talking about here and being a grant writer, you can actually just be the person that these executive directors at these organizations need to lean on. So I could definitely use some more grant writers in my team to help me be able to get more funding for the work that I'm doing. So I just wanted to make that note right there. And like I mentioned, it is a fulfilling career. So we play a vital role in supporting causes that we care about, whether it's education, healthcare, the arts, or social justice. There is personal fulfillment that comes from helping organizations secure funding for projects that make a difference. And again, right here, that part about securing funding for projects that make a difference, that could be your own project, your own nonprofit, or it could be another nonprofit that you align with, that you might want to get closer to and work with and work for, and you would be that in-house grant writer for them. So hopefully that distinction is clear. So here are a couple of organizations that I've come across. One is my own, obviously, but a couple of organizations that I've come across in different cohorts that I've been a part of, and I just wanted to share what grant writing has done for them. So New Momish, I was in a cohort with her for the Elevation Awards, the founder, and she was able to create the first moms conference in Baltimore and the last year, and then this year she spread out to PG County and created a moms conference for PG County. And so her organization, New Momish, is this on-demand village for moms. So whether you need someone to do your groceries, fold your laundry, do childcare. It's just an on-demand village to help new moms really get the support they need. So I am not a mother yet, but I know that whenever I do become a mom, this would be a great resource to have. And she has a whole app and everything like that. So her her members can be connected and stay connected for whatever it is that she has coming up. Now, on the other side of things, Bronze Girl Collective, this is another one of my fellow past cohort members. The name of the founder is Alana, and she has created programming for Black women over 40. And she does workshops, and one of her programs that she has gotten grant funding for is a professional wardrobe program. So a lot of times when people are entering into the workforce again, maybe they're coming from either the streets or they're coming from incarceration and they're needing a new wardrobe. A lot of times there are programs that'll only get them clothing for the first interview, but she goes beyond that and gives clothing for the full length of time that they would be, needing new clothes for their new job. So that's one of the programs that she does. For me, grant funding has helped me. So like I mentioned, I have a full salary and I was able to hire some part-time staff. I was able to get a podcast going this year, which is really exciting, and carry out more programming to the community. So that is what grant writing has done for me and a couple of other orgs that I know personally. There are a number of transferable skills. There are only three right here, but I know the list can go on, but you will learn a lot of research. You do have to do a lot of research when it comes to grant writing. Obviously, your communication skills written will definitely increase, and then also your critical thinking skills. And so these are transferable to any job market, pretty much any role that you will find yourself in. These are great skill sets to have. So the point about opportunities for professional growth, there's always networking. So it opens doors to connect with funders, nonprofit leaders, community organizations, creating valuable professional relationships. I know that I have built a lot of professional relationships via networking, just with the cohorts that I've been a part of, as well as some of the actual funders and going to some of their mix and mingles and their happy hours and different events that they have. It's just really great to like get your name out there, especially where I live in Baltimore. Both the Baltimore small business community is kind of like you have to, people kind of have to know your name basically. And so networking is definitely the way to get your name out there and so that people can be thinking about you when when they see your application come through for whatever opportunity you may be applying for. Career advancement. So there are potential pathways for advancement, such as moving into program management, fundraising leadership, or nonprofit executive roles, which I have. So, grant writing is a great way to set yourself up for, those higher level C-suite roles, if that's something you might be looking for. I know a lot of people like the flexibility of being a contractor and, having multiple gigs. So it all really depends on what works best for you. Back to skill development. So there are opportunities to develop complementary skills like data analysis, budgeting for sure, and strategic planning, making you more well-rounded professionals. Budgeting is really huge when it comes to grant writing. We talk about in the course how to actually create your budget and, all of the information that you need to put into the budget and what they would be looking for, and making sure that, the percentages are kind of what they're looking for. The funders are looking for to know that the money is going to mostly programming. There are a lot of grants for programming, not as much money out there for just unrestricted funding. We love unrestricted funding, which means that we could, pay for our salaries and pay for staff and things like that. But a lot of times the programming, or excuse me, the funding that's out there is for programming. So this is just a picture of some of the grants that I've applied to over the past couple years. Just wanted to show, the wide range of grants. They've probably ranged from about like the first $500 one to um, maybe 50,000 around here. So these are the Weaver Awards. This was the Foot Locker Foundation, United Way of Central Maryland, M&T Bank Foundation, collectively, the Black Philanthropy Circle. This is ORS Herstory Grant, Beam Black Peer Support and Community Care Grants, the ABLE Foundation, More Equity in Mental Health, which is by the American Psychiatric Association. So the great thing about when you are applying for an organization, that organization most likely has a mission, and they're most likely tailored to a specific niche. And so a lot of mine have been around mental health. So this one is mental health, this one is mental health. Um, and then other ones have been around maybe youth focus. We do have a youth focus at the Mental Health Emergency Fund, and others are just larger corporations that give out funding on a rolling basis. They could be, smaller grants around 5,000, and they could be larger around, 50,000. So it really all depends. So these are just some of the grants that I've applied to, and then I'll now show you what is currently open. Unfortunately, these are just some opportunities in Baltimore. So the Baltimore Elevation Awards that I was a part of, that was a $10,000, that was and is still a $10,000 grant. That is due November 17th. So applications are currently open for that. Loyola University's Baltimore's program is actually due tomorrow. So if anyone is in Baltimore and they want to check that out, I would definitely encourage you to type this into Google and find out about that program and get your application in by tomorrow. And then the Baltimore Women's Giving Circle, applications open on November 1st. So I believe that's Friday. And they close on December 15th. So I will definitely be applying to this one. Since I knew that there's some people who weren't going to be in the Baltimore area, this Amber Grant is, I want to say it's all across the US. So this is a 10,000, they give out, I believe, maybe three $10,000 grants per month. And your focus should, I think it's women-owned, but yes, women-owned businesses. And it's always going to be due the last day of the month. And so again, this one is due tomorrow. But they give away $10,000 grants, and a lot of times they focus on different business areas. So there might be, for May, it was mental health awareness and, different months are different focuses, but they also have funding for, regular programs for your business. I found out about this one as I was doing a little bit of research, Transform Small Business Grant. This is a rolling deadline, and I believe this one was only 1,000. And so if someone wants to kind of get their feet wet and start really, really small, this might be a good one to start with. Um, the Transform Small Business Grant. I'm not entirely certain this one might just be for Virginia as well, but you can, again, just type it into Google and, look that up for yourselves. Feel free to take a picture of this slide so that you can go back to it. And then when I went to virginiagrantwatch.com, there were hundreds of grants. So that is something to just keep in mind. I think some were, more proposals for, in the government sector, but nonetheless, this was an organization, or excuse me, a website that I found there to be a lot of grant opportunities. And I can continue to compile more resources if that would be helpful for people to know like where the grants are, because I think a lot of times people just don't know where to look. Um, I know that when I was looking earlier, I saw a lot of small business loans, but loans are not the same thing as grants. Grants are basically free money where you don't have to pay anything back, and loans you do have to pay back. So I would definitely encourage you to get to go towards grants versus loans. If you were to do loans, I would try to do 0% interest or low interest rate loans if that is something that you were interested in looking into. All right, we are coming to the close. So like I mentioned, this is leading up to an actual 5-day course, which is at your pace, asynchronous. It's perfect for beginners and is a fraction of the cost of courses out there. So you will be getting an email each day from Monday through Friday with a YouTube link of me going through content that is kind of like this. It's going to be a slide deck, and I will be talking through the slides just as I'm doing here. I believe you'll be able to see my face for this one since it'll be pre-recorded. So that's the 5-day workshop, and actually I will drop the links to the I'll drop the links to pay if you think you're interested in paying and signing up today. So again, this was just meant to give you a small glimpse of some of the possibilities that you can have with grant writing. You'll dive deeper into the 5-day course. I definitely want you all to stay connected, and I do thank you for your time. In one of the next slides, I'll show you all the ways that you can reach me and stay connected and plugged in. Here's a preview. The course again starts Monday, November 11th. So day 1, we'll be doing an introduction to grant writing. Day 2, understanding the grant proposal structure, which is really important. Day 3 is all about crafting a compelling narrative. Day 4, we're going to be talking about budgeting and supporting documents. And then day 5 is finalizing your proposal and next steps. So your investment, if you decided that you did want to sign up for the course, like I mentioned, there is a discount today. So it's $97 today. It is available in a payment plan of 2 installments of $49 if that is something that is, more feasible for you. Like I mentioned, there will be a free group coaching upon completion of your training. And then one-on-one coaching would be available on a case-by-case basis. So if you're, really getting into it and you kind of want a little bit more support around, a specific grant that you might want to go after, I can provide some one-on-one coaching support for you in that regard. Feel free to take a picture of this slide and also scan the QR code. The QR code takes you to this link tree, which has my current active links. But these are the ways to reach me. Pretty much everything is Mental Health Emergency Fund. Our website is mentalhealthemergencyfund.org, and our podcast website is mentalhealthemergencyfund.com. So that's the distinction there. org versus .com. And you can email me if you have any further questions from this live stream at info@mentalhealthemergencyfund.org. Feel free to, shoot me any questions, any feedback. I'd love to know. Like I mentioned, this is my first one, so I'm really grateful for you all's time and attention. And I think the next slide might be Q&A. Yes, Q&A. So I'm going to pull up my phone. And like I mentioned, I will be answering any questions in the chat. Ooh, okay. So sorry, I'm getting excited. Uh, All right, I will put the link to sign up for the course in the chat. Thank you all so much for joining. Are there any more questions? So this is the $97 one. If anyone wanted to pay the two payments of 49, that is via PayPal, so you would have to have a PayPal account. But with Stripe for the first link, you do not need an account to buy. So here's the second link here for the two payments of 49. Any other questions? Here is my email again for people who might just want to, think about some things and then email me a little bit later. I will honor the $97 price until the end of the week if anyone needs a little bit more time to think about it. But those are the links for payment. Thank you all so much for being a part of this. If there are no further questions, I can go ahead and end the stream. But again, thank you so much for your time. And November 11th is when the course starts. Deadline to sign up either way. I would say starts the 11th. I would say the Friday before that. So I think that's the 8th. All right. If there are no other questions, thank you so much for your time. And again, you all know where to reach me at Mental Health Emergency Fund on all platforms. All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and end it. Thank you all so much.